afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Just to let you know that I'll be chairing the meeting again this afternoon. So before we begin, I'd just like to cover a few brief housekeeping points. As a reminder, our meetings are governed by formal rules known as standing orders, which are in place to ensure meetings run fairly and efficiently. These are available on our website or via the clerk. This includes expectations for the conduct of everyone present, councillors and members of the public alike. Public participation session, this is where members of the public are able to express a view or ask a question on relevant matters on the agenda and are welcome to stay and observe the rest of the meeting, but may not speak or interrupt the meeting following the public participation session. Each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes to address the council. In line with Standing Order 3H, please note that any questions raised during public participation do not necessarily require a response at the meeting, and we will not prompt a debate. A response may be given in writing or orally at a later date as appropriate. All comments or questions should be addressed through the chair, and only one person may speak at a time. And I'd ask if you can just raise your hand if you'd like to speak. And please note that we are recording, or I am recording audio this evening. And finally, if you can switch off any digital devices to silent, so we can minimise interruptions. Thank you. Okay. So we have number 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence, but we're all here, so we have none. Number 2 is declarations of interests and requests for dispensations. This is to receive any declarations of interest from members and to consider any requests for dispensations as appropriate.
I need to declare a disclosure of pecuniary interest in item 4. I will withdraw and I'll not seek to take part in any discussion or vote.
Okay.
I have a declaration of interest which I've already declared and will ask for a dispensation.
Okay. And I'm the same. I have a declaration of interest in regard to Seale Village Hall, member of the committee trustee, which I've already sought and received a dispensation for. Okay. Number 3, that's so representations from the public. So as I mentioned earlier, this is to hear representations from members of the public relating to items on this agenda in accordance with standing orders. Would anyone like to speak?
I would like to speak.
Yes, sir. Just
trying to turn my phone.
Done it now. I would just like to say the past 18 months have been extremely difficult for me and my husband. Ian is now 83 years old and I'm 77. At our age, stress factors have a long-lasting effect, which you may not understand now at your age, but you will in 20 or 30 years' time. Stress means sleepless nights, and sleepless nights means no energy the next day. And once gone, will never come back. I understand that our parish councillors are fed up with the Wood Lane land saga, but please accept, so are we. And it is not the Wood Lane neighbourhood that has been causing the problems. On the contrary, for us it has always been about protecting the land. I don't know whether any one of you know, but Surrey Wildlife Trust did a survey in 1998 of that field and established that this field was home to over 250 different grass species, some of which were even then very rare, and today might be even extinct. We have supported our parish council for nearly 40 years. We have seen 4 chairmen struggle to maintain and support community matters. And together, we have always fought for the good of the community. Bob Cordell, some of you might remember, was in the chair when we first came to Seale, at a time when we had 7 working sandpits in Seale and Runfold. Residents' attendance then was quite low, just 3 or 4 at parish council meetings, and that included me. A few years later, Bill Nelson took over. The first thing he did was change the agenda from any other matters at the end of the meetings to the front as point 4. His reason was so that the community had a chance to speak and raise issues that needed sorting. And that changed everything. Attendance grew, problems were addressed and dealt with, and together we first got the lorry load sand extractions down to 200 lorries per day, a few years later to 120 lorries per day, and eventually we got one sandpit after another closed without permissions for further extensions. Working together can achieve miracles. And everyone here today, you don't know how lucky you are that there is no more working pits around our neighbourhood. Today, our countryside is under even greater pressure, and building permission is now granted in places we would have never believed was possible, with agricultural land disappearing in front of our very eyes. I believe it is our duty to work together to preserve what we have inherited and be united in our struggles. As King Charles in his recent speech in America said, the basis of our laws today and that of many countries is based on Christian values. And the Bible teaches us that a divided house cannot survive. We need to work together for the good of our community, and we owe it to our children. I therefore welcome the Councillor's motion to reverse the disposal of the Wood Lane parish land so that it can be protected for future generations. I'm looking forward to getting back to normality and working once again in unity for the good of our village. And for this, as always, I am happy to show my support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else like to speak? No? Okay, thank you. We shall move on.
I shall run away.
Yes, so moving on to item 4. So is the special motion to reverse item 7.
Front, Councillor.
Resolution 2.
About the back.
Okay, sorry. So, special motion to reverse item 7, resolution 2, which was on the 17th of November 2025, which was future use and potential disposal of parish-owned land at Wood Lane. So, councillors have been given the special motion, and it did take 3 councillors in order to bring this motion to a meeting. And this followed a council process of ADR with Will's solicitors, wasn't it, to agree what the terms could be. I think a lot of people have asked about what the judicial review has been about, and there's only so much that you can say with an ongoing judicial review. If I just briefly say about the the grounds for the claim. So one was alleged misdirection regarding restrictive covenants and retention options. So this, the claim argues that the council misunderstood or misapplied the effect of restrictive covenants affecting the land, and that the claimant argues this affected both the consultation process and the subsequent decision making. The second ground was alleged interest and apparent bias. So the claim alleges that a councillor who participated in this discussion and vote should have declared an interest due to a connection between his spouse and Hampton Estate, which was considered the likely purchaser of the land. Remember, this is just alleged grounds. The claim suggests that this issue may have affected the lawfulness of the decision. Ground 3 was alleged flaws in the statutory notice and consultation process, and it argues that the wording used in connection with the statutory notice process suggested the council had already predetermined the outcome before representations were considered. The claimant relies on these principles of lawful consultation and procedural fairness. And then the last ground, number 4, was essentially overall procedural fairness. So taken together, the claimant argues that the matters above mean that the council's decision-making process was procedurally flawed and unlawful, and therefore the November 25 resolution should be quashed. So I'm sure you're aware that the parish council has received legal advice on these grounds, and including advice that some points are arguable and finely balanced, whilst recognising that the alleged interest or apparent bias issue may present the most significant difficulty. At our last meeting, we councillors did discuss what our course of action could be, and we chose to resolve or aim to resolve the issue through the ADR process by offering terms that would do this, and I believe the claimant has agreed to those terms. Yeah. By agreeing to those terms, by rescinding the offer, rescinding the decision that we made in November, we will it will realise the claim as being academic and no further viable. So I'm on the understanding that by rescinding the decision in November, that the claim will stop and go no further.
Yes.
Is that the understanding that we're doing this on? Yeah. Okay. So would councillors like to say anything?
I don't think there's much to add really from my point of view. I think it's pretty clear. We've discussed it thoroughly and taken legal advice appropriately.
I think the only thing to add, Jim, would be that per Standing Order 7, no similar motion can be brought back to the council for a further 6 months following a reversal today.
You say no similar motion.
Weren't we on the understanding that it was different due to the
because with the 6
claim?
months, yes, yeah, we'll stick with that time period.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So, so in relation to the decision made in 17th of November 2025, are all those in favour of reversing that decision? Unanimous? And that's it. Thank you very much for coming. All done.
We'd like to say some things.
That was earlier on, Peter, in public participation session. The meeting's now closed.